Elina Svitolina versus Simona Halep, a little bit more even on the outrights there. Simona Halep 1.45, Elina Svitolina at 3.06. Obviously, it is looking like a Serena Williams and a Simona Halep final, with Simona Halep having a slightly longer odds there to win the trophy. So start us off here, Kappa. Svitolina versus Halep.
This is kind of the exact opposite of the last match, which, you look at the head-to-heads of Serena and Babs, and it was overwhelmingly in favor of Serena. Two different classes of player. Now, Halep versus Svitolina is a completely different story. Mm-hmm. If you go back in the last 2017, 2018, this has been kind of a low-key, one of the better little kind of head-to-head rivalries in the post-Serena dominating the tour era. Svitolina, and I think they have 5, 6 or 7 maybe since 2017 head-to-heads. Almost all of them were at like late stages of tournaments, finals, for titles, and they've gone back and forth. Svitolina has generally gotten the better of Halep in these contests. She's beaten Halep twice on clay, both times in Rome. Svitolina always plays her best tennis in Rome for whatever reason. And this is a very, very competitive and tight rivalry. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that it's been lined as favorably as it has for Halep. They've never played each other in a slam setting. So Svitolina, if you look at her career and her achievements, she's done well. She's won Masters. She won a tour final, but she has consistently underperformed at late stages in slams. If there's one knock on her, it's her knack for choking when you get into the really tense, really high pressure situations against top competition in these slams. And I think that is shading a lot of the bookmakers' line, and some of the market action here. It's basically looking at a player like Halep, who's done it before. She's won a French Open. She's won a slam. Svitolina consistently chokes, and that's kind of the expectation here, that if the going gets tough, Svitolina is going to not have the mental fortitude to get across the finish line. I personally think this is a very even match, a very close match, and I'm pulling for Halep to get to the final because I want my future ticket to be alive with as much value as possible, so I can come back and balance my action with some of the Serena action I've taken, in large part thanks to our friend Snies, who is pro Serena long before it was cool. So I'd like to see Halep through, but I think it's going to be a monumental task, and it's going to be very tough. And Svitolina does have kind of the answer for some of the strengths of Halep's game, which should kind of level this playing field and present for a very competitive match.
Mm-hmm. We've got Barsaman here, who I did this one some of the first time I've seen with tennis plays. Great with his football plays. He's like Svitolina plus 1.5 at 1.72. What do you think of that one, Kappa? Is that something that you're looking at?
That's a really nice look, actually. The idea that Halep wins in straight sets, I think, is far-fetched. If she does, it's going to be kind of the same. If Halep wins in straight sets, it's going to look a lot like the scoreline you saw with Konta and Barbara Strakova, where Halep takes a tightly contested first set tiebreak, and then Svitolina just melts in the second set because she can't bounce back from losing a tight first set. I definitely don't see a gulf in class between these two in terms of their ability to perform. Svitolina's performance on grass in this tournament to this point has surpassed what I expected by a long shot, but she's got the game. She won the tour finals, beating Halep in the final, if I remember correctly, not all that long ago in Singapore. So, there's really no reason she shouldn't be a live dog in this fight.
Mm-hmm. And Halep's also been known, obviously, to choke, and it's sort of like, but she seems to be getting over that as time goes by. Obviously, after she won her first Grand Slam, and then it seems to obviously been going from there. Barcelona again saying Halep 2-1 at odds of 4. Yeah. What's your take on this, Snice? Do you think that the odds aren't quite correct? Do you think it's going to be a closer match than the bookies are really sort of predicting?
I think that very much depends on how well these women starts. As Wales said there, Svitolina is known to choke at the latter stages of Grand Slam tournaments. In fact, this is her very first semifinal appearance in any slam in her entire career. She's never been this far before. So she's going to be on a big court against a Grand Slam champion. How will she handle this? She's been telling us about that she hasn't felt that much pressure because no one has really been talking about it. No one expected her to do anything this tournament, and that's helped her. So that may come into play here. But I think that Halep wins this match. I do think that it will be a closer match than the odds suggest. Likely goes 3 sets. But what I'm done here is I just gone ahead and went for the straight Halep win, and I'm going to parlay that with Serena Williams to win. Halep is one of the only 3 active women right now, along with Serena and Maria Sharapova, to have reached Grand Slam semifinals on all surfaces. I haven't really been that impressed with Svitolina's play, to be honest. I think she should have gone out. She would have gone out to Margarita Gasparyan in the second round if the Russian hadn't got injured. So she was lucky there to scrape by. She struggled versus Sakkari in 3 sets. Then she ran into 2 gassed opponents in Martic and Muchova. So in actuality, she's really been handed a lot of wins or been getting assisted. So I wouldn't really, hype her up too much. I think that Halep will be a test that is too tough for her. She's been playing the best grass tennis of her career. I've never seen her play this well on grass. So maybe, her management, they were onto something when they said they were, targeting Wimbledon. So yeah, I've gone ahead and played Halep to win, and probably that with Serena, who both me and Wei concur would win that matchup, and I can get 1.88 or minus 114 for that parlay.
Yeah, or you can just go ahead and just play name the finalists for 1.91, or take both to get a little bit more value, because we should hopefully see those in the finals. All right. So, and what Elina Svitolina versus Simona Halep? What was your play, World Cupper?
Yeah, my final thought is first set over. This has all the makings of like 4 or 5, 4. I'll say 4 or 6 breaks in this first set, and a first set tie break that Simona Halep takes 7-6. So I like the first set over is my favorite play on this match. I think this is going to be very competitive early. Whoever gets the advantage in this first set either takes the second set off and saves it up for a third, or their opponent mentally falls apart and it's over in 2. So that's kind of my only highly confident play on this one. I think it should be a greit match. I think Snaiz, you're right. None of Svitolina's play to this point in this tournament has screamed that she is top form for her or really for the tour. But she has survived in advance to this point, and we've seen her pull amazing play late in stages of smaller tournaments in the past. And as much as she has melted down under high pressure situations in the past, if she gets through, I think she'll save that for the final against Serena Williams. But I would say she has less pressure on her than Halep, especially with Halep kind of setting up that this is like a big thing she's focusing on and cares a lot about. And as Natalie mentioned, we've known in Halep's past, she's relied heavily on the support of her coach, Darren Cahill, to kind of give her the kind of pull her together when things were not going well in matches late in stages of major tournaments, and he's not there anymore. So it's all on her to do it all herself, keep it all up here, and kind of keep it together. If Svitolina takes a first set here, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Halep to kind of pull it together and come away with the comeback victory. And I'm not feeling super confident, even having been on the Simona Halep train from the get-go. Here, I'm pretty nervous that she's not gonna, that something's gonna go sideways here in this in this match, because the pressure is on her. Svitolina is kind of playing with house money, and she's done it to Simona Halep before in these situations. Singapore, most notably. Most of them have been on hard court. It's worth noting, but I do think that Svitolina has a fighter's chance here.